Hey everyone, it's Richard Cannell here from Small Island Gardener. On today's episode, I'm going to debunk a myth with you guys. And this is a little controversial because if you look around the internet, this is a very widespread myth. And quite honestly, I've perpetuated this myth as well. But I think I've learned better enough to explain why I don't believe in it anymore. So I'll flip this camera around and I'll show you what I'm talking about. This myth is about tomatoes and how if you take the suckers off the tomatoes, which if you're unfamiliar with it, you see here's the main stem, here's the leaf, this is the sucker. Now the myth is that if you take the suckers off the tomatoes, the plant is going to grow better. It's going to have more energy to put into the fruits that grow from the main stem. Now, it's not that this is entirely wrong, it's just not entirely right either. You see, what happens is when you take that sucker off, and every sucker for that matter, you just get a straight vertical plant. It's just one straight stem. And on that stem, you're going to get a truss here, a truss there, a truss there, and you'll get all these fruits growing on said trusses. And as the plant grows higher, it's also healthy to take the leaves off from anywhere under the soonest to ripen truss, and just to give it more breathability and send the energy there. These are what people are saying. But I have noticed, because it's kind of an accident actually, I let my plants go a little wild this year. I had some other things going on and I didn't catch them on time, and then they actually got so large that this is really large, and there's a grape up there too. Anyways, they got so large that I didn't have the heart to take them off anymore, and quite honestly, once they have been around for a while, they get kind of hard. And then when you break them off, it exposes a wound that's harder to heal. Now, if you get them when they're really small, you could even break it off with your finger, and then it heals over extremely quickly. It takes a day for it to crust over, and you won't get a disease that way. At least chances are you won't. So anyways, here I am. This is one gigantic tomato plant. The variety actually is Sun Gold. Look at these beautiful tomatoes. They're just starting to ripen. So you got a truss here, there. You got another one hiding behind there. There's another big one. Oh yeah, it's behind here. There's another one there. There's the other main one, and it just keeps on going up the main stem all the way to the top. Now this thing has grown so many stems at this point, it's really hard to look at what's going on here. But here's one that I have now propped up. This is actually from the neighboring plant, so scrap that. That's not all from this plant, but behind it, that is the Sun Gold. So there's another one, and all of those are suckers from the same plant. So, oh, and also here, there's another. So 1, 2, 3. You see all these tomatoes here? These trusses are loaded. Down here, this is another sucker that fell down to the ground, and they're just all over the place, these fruits. So there's no way at all that you are going to be able to get this many fruits from a single vertical stem of tomato. It's just not possible. So I let this happen. And one downside, and I think this negative aspect of growing so many stems, this is what perpetuates that myth, is that they are slower to ripen. Because so many other plants in the garden that don't have this many stems, they are already ripening their tomatoes. And many have been eaten from these plants, in fact. But nothing, not one, has been picked from this plant yet. These are just starting to ripen, and it is mid-August. So that is the only downside, is that it takes longer for them to ripen. So if you want early tomatoes, then yes, by all means, take off all the suckers. But if you just want lots of tomatoes, then don't take off the suckers. Now, it's kind of daunting, and I'm sure that there will be a point where the rainy weather sets in, and then disease can develop on the plants if they can't breathe properly. So there will come a day where I'm going to need to take off a bunch of extra leaves and let more airflow in to prolong the life of these plants. But there's no rain in the forecast yet, so I'm just gonna let them do what they do, and when the time comes, I'll get to that. So anyways, I just wanted to show you how many tomatoes are possible when you have multiple stems growing from the same plant. Now, what I would do next year is I will train my plant. There comes a point in every tomato plant's life where it'll, grow 1, 2, maybe 3 suckers. And what I'll do is I will plant the tomato sort of in a center space there, and I will put like 1, 2, 3 stakes, and I will train those suckers to go toward those stakes. And then I will do what I've done here with the string from the top of this structure. I will let them grow up there. So I will control it a little bit more. I think that, there's at least 6 stems, probably more, but I don't think it's too much per se, but at the same time it might be. So to play it safe, I'm gonna just stay in the middle ground here and just have 3, maybe 4, I don't know. I'll play it by ear. But all I do know now is that 1 stem is not enough, because the ground can tolerate it. There's enough nutrition, as long as you take care of the ground, of course. The root systems in tomatoes are excellent. They can take up so much, and they're kind of weedy, to be honest. So, yes, I hope that maybe you learned something and you'll give this a try yourself. Obviously still grow 1 or 2 single stem tomatoes, and you'll get those early season tomatoes, and it's best to spread them out through the season if you can. So anyways, before I ramble on too much longer, I'm just going to say bye. In the comments, let me know if you've had a similar experience. I would be interested to know. All right, so that about wraps it up. Thanks a lot for staying around, and I hope that you got something from this, and happy gardening. Talk to you next time. Bye.